Yes, it's. I think it's an exciting week for our team, and boy, it's great. It's great to be able to play a game of this nature at Jordan-Hare, back here at Jordan-Hare, and I think our team is very, very excited to play against a great football team. So we understand the challenges ahead for us all the way around in a game like this, but this is what college football is all about, to be able to have the opportunity to have a very good football team come in here and, again, see how much improvement we made from the week before. I think our players are very excited about the opportunity. I know coaches are as well. And so I think that'll be fun for our fans, and I just think, again, it's going to be a great evening, 6 o'clock kickoff, so we're looking forward to it. And we'll get back to work today and start preparing.
Questions?
Against LSU special teams, you anticipate kicking it deeper to keep them from having returns, just with the dangerousness of their return men?
Right. They've always been very, very good on special teams. I think they're a very athletic team from top to bottom. So obviously they pose a lot of challenges. But we'll decide as we get closer. We've got a game plan in mind right now. Last year they were very effective. They're one of the few teams that we thought beat us in the special teams game, hitting yards and field position, and last year that was something that that stood out to us. So we know they got a great return game. They've got several guys that can return punts and kickoffs that are very potent. But we feel like, again, our coverage units are really, really good. We think it's a very good matchup, and it depends on what our ideas are depending on how the games unfold. So we know the challenges of kicking it to their guys, and we know that they return, punts for touchdowns and things of that nature. But we will play that by ear. We'll have a plan to do both.
Sunday, a lot of the guys asked about, when they think of this game, what word comes to mind when they say physical. You've got a pretty good perspective of that down there on the sidelines. Is it one of the more physical games you play all year?
I don't think there's any question. I don't think there's any question. I think that part of their success over the last few years, has been their ability to, bring that physical nature to their game. And there's no real secrets with what they try to do. They execute. They've got very good players. They try to out-physical you. They're going to run the ball and play action you, and take some deep shots on you during the game. But the physicality part of their defense is very obvious as well. When you turn that film on. So that's what they're built on, and so that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, you've seen a lot of success from them, and you can tell that's a way of life for them.
Gene, you talk a lot about wanting to be physical like that. How do you get to that point, to being consistently physical that way?
Well, I think you got to practice that way every day. I think that you got to build it into your culture. I think what they do on both sides of the ball allows them to have built that culture, over the years, and it's a two tight end at times, two back, pound the football at you, and play action. I think, again, when you're doing that on a daily basis in practice, that develops a toughness for your team, and they've done that. There's no question about it.
Was that at least part of your thinking in making the move on offense you made from last year to this year?
Yeah, it's part of us, trying to, again, be more physical with our, the whole approach to our team, and we've always been fairly physical on special teams. We know there's room for improvement. We've been aggressive. We've been aggressive in what we do special teams wise. Again, the physicality of our game needs to continue to improve, as we all know. I don't think that's a secret. And I think by the way we're practicing and how much we're going against each other with some physical downhill running game, I think you're going to see it continue to improve.
How tough is it for a guy like Kyle, a young guy, kind of jumping into there? How tough is it to learn from a mistake, but also kind of forget about it and just keep playing? I mean, is that one of the tougher things?
I think it's the individual, but I think it's certainly challenging for a young guy who's never really had to, overcome those things. The quarterback world in this league is very, very mental. And that's both when good things happen and when, challenging things happen to you. So I think it really depends on the individual. But again, if you're going to play quarterback in this league, that's what you have to be able to do. So there's really no option, if you're going to be effective the next game. So he's been good with, overcoming the adversity 2 weeks ago to playing better this past week. And, every week is going to be a learning experience for him. And there'll be challenges, different challenges that come the next week based on something that happened the week before. And he's going to have to, again, grow up and, continue to grow up, which I think he is, and, work through those challenges.
How do you help him deal with it during the course of the game?
Well, you're just in constant contact with him and making sure that he's, that his body language and everything is right. And, the main thing is trying to get him some success early in the game. I think that's the main thing. So, if you're able to do that, there's something that may happen bad, somewhere down the line in the game. But again, I think it's, you got to have a very short memory to be good at this position. It's about poise and character and confidence, and you can't be shaken. And so that's easier said than done when you got everybody telling you how good you are or how bad you are or all the other things that are out there. But that comes with the job, and he knows that. We've had several discussions on that, and he'll continue to grow.
Another thing easier said than done is running the ball against LSU, but how important is it to not put it all on Kyle, to be able to be physical against them?
Well, I've said that several times. I don't. Our plan is to never put a game entirely on the quarterback, whoever the quarterback is here. There's other guys out there that got a lot of work that they got to do to help get the job done, contribute to the job. We got to be able to move the football. They're giving up less than 50 yards a game running the football. So we've got to find some way to run it. And we rushed for 255 yards last week, but this is a different type of deal. So running the football is obviously imperative when it comes to trying to take a quarterback and continue to see him grow. So what helps that? Running the ball. Well, we know the challenges of that. We know what people have attempted to do in the first 3 games, Washington and everybody else. Hadn't happened. So we got to figure out a way to run the ball, take the pressure off of our quarterback some, and be able to throw the ball as well, but mainly started taking the pressure off the quarterback and finding ways to run the ball.
You started to get contributions from other guys in the passing game like Sandy, you got Trace for that a little bit. Will it be important for Emery and Phillip to get reintegrated as they certainly did in Clemson?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. And I think that, the more we're able to spread the ball around to different people, then obviously the more, people aren't going to be able to, if they choose to double one or double the other, they won't continue to be able to have the luxury to do that as long as other guys are being productive. So I think it's really important for 4 or 5 of our receivers to be able to be go-to guys that, we've got a lot of trust and confidence in that they'll catch the ball when the time is right.
As you watch film of LSU, how does the absence of Tyrann Matthew really affect things and change things for them on the field?
Well, to be honest with you, the ones that I saw come in and play that aren't, besides him, they're very talented and very explosive and very confident. I haven't seen them have any problems covering receivers, whether it's man or zone. So I can't tell you exactly, what the drop-off is in terms of him versus them, but as an entire defense, I don't see a drop-off.
Talk about Tom managing the game. You mentioned just now never wanted to put it entirely on the quarterback. At this stage, do you feel like he has command of the huddle?
I do.
Gene, what do you hope this game says about your team? I mean, obviously you're coming in big underdogs the season you've had so far. What do you tell the players? What are your expectations for this game of the team?
Yeah, our expectations is to go out there and play better than we played last week. And our expectation when we go into that stadium against anybody we play is to win. So that's the message this week, 3 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, that won't matter.
Do you think this game particularly though will tell you a lot about the character of this
Oh,
team?
I think so. I think anytime you play a team right now that's ranked, in the top 3 in the country, no matter who you're playing right now, I think it tells you a lot about where you are. And I think it'll tell us a lot about what direction, again, in terms of improvement, that we, how much improvement we made. So that's why it's going to be a really, really fun game to play in for our guys. This is the kind of game that they should embrace and they should love to play in. So at the end of the day, our expectation is to win every time we step out on that stadium out there, on that field out there. And at the end of the day, we'll always see exactly where we ended up and where to go from there, one game at a time.
It's been a start to the season, I'm sure. Just as a program, we would have liked to see more success early on, but with the opportunity this weekend, one win really changes all of that. Is that something you bring up to your guys the week before this game, that you have that opportunity to really kind of change the course of where this season started out?
No, that's not how we talk. We talk about what a great opportunity to go out there and have some fun and have a chance to beat a good football team. And we take it 1 week at a time. So, we don't talk about the past. We can't change that, and we never will be able to. We can only do what we can do moving forward, and that's what we focus on. So we don't look at what that means and what that, it just means that, if we go in this game, play a great game, and win the game, it means that we won a good game, we've got to move to the next one. So that's how we approach it.
With that need to establish the run some way, somehow against LSU, how have Ontario, Trey, and as well as Mike been developing as far as running between the tackles?
I think we've seen improvement. Obviously a lot of that comes from the offensive line in terms of being able to get hats on the right people and trying to get some push up front. But I think I said earlier in the week, big question with Ontario is can he run in there? And I think he's shown that he's been effective so far. Obviously this week will be a different challenge than any of the ones we've had previously. There's no question about that. But I think Trey and Mike have done the same thing. And, we've done some good things in the run game. I expect the run game to improve. And so for all 3 of those guys, is there a lot of room for improvement? Oh yeah, sure there is. But in the same sense, we've played 3 football games. And again, our goal every week is to improve. That's what our goal is. And I think those guys, for the most part, I think they've done a good job. Haven't been perfect, but I think we're working in the right direction.
Does one of them set themselves apart each week? You've had a different guy take a lead role. Does one of them set themselves apart at all?
I think that Ontario's been consistent in whatever we're asking them to do. And, sometimes guys take away the edge because they know right now that he's dangerous out in space on the perimeter. And when people have done that, i.e. last week, then we ran him up inside. He was able to be productive running up inside. We're going to try to do with him what we can do to keep him productive, but in every role that we've given him, he's been fairly productive, even when we put him back there as a kick returner. So we know he's productive. Trey and Mike have both done some nice things, in their own right. They need to continue to improve, but the tailback position right now is one that we know we have to count on to improve and get better. And I think, again, after 3 games, they're in the right direction. They certainly haven't arrived.
Coach, 2-part question. First is, after 3 weeks, we've seen the SEC look at film and have suspended some guys for some questionable hits and stuff like that. First off, your take on that rule and how it is perceived by the conference.
Well, I think that Commissioner Sly and our officiating crew and the people that are responsible for that, Steve Shaw, I think they do a great job, number one. And, you know, their number one concern is safety for young guys. So, you know, anytime you're looking at the safety and health of young guys, they're going to make decisions based on that, which I think is outstanding. And I'm not aware of all the suspensions and things of that nature. But I know that they keep a very, very close eye on what is acceptable, and they're trying to make a statement of safety. And I think they do a great job with it.
What do you do? I assume that's something you have to address a little as a reminder to the guys. Hey, you gotta play smart, do the fundamentals. How do you keep your guys from being caught in a position where it could be negative then that could affect them later on in the season or
yeah. Well, you know, it's hard because you're trying to get guys to be aggressive, you know, and then on the same, you know, kind of in the same breath, you're saying, hey, let's be aggressive, but, you know, here's the things you can't do. But I think it's really all, it's just educating your guys. You know, when you're targeting above the helm, you know, targeting above the shoulders, you know, to a defenseless player, it is what it is. You know, you got a chance to really hurt somebody, and that's not what we want, you know, and so some discretion certainly needs to be used by the player because, you know, they're all trying to play hard and they're all trying to play physical. But at the same time, you know, we're trying to do all the things we can, you know, as a league to police and prevent, you know, catastrophic injuries. So I think it's all, very monitored, very, very, and assessed, and evaluated very closely, and I think rightly so.
How hard to tackle has Kenny Hilliard looked from just what you've seen on film?
Very. Along with some of their other tailbacks. They're very, I mean, look, you know, if they're throwing a 220-pound tailback and he goes out, they're just going to throw in another 230-pound tailback. So they're all good. They're physical, they're downhill. That's what they practice. That's the way they run. They've got a very good offensive line. It's no secret. I mean, you know, they are where they are because they're able to do that.
They don't have to do